Hello, fellow Murdlers. Today is Friday, June 14th, 2024, and it's a great day to solve a murder. Today we have the curious case of kindness, and we have 3 5x5 grids with suspects, locations, and weapons. Our red murder clue today is kindness was clearly used to commit the crime. So we can go ahead and say our how was kindness, and if you didn't catch it a few weeks ago or months ago, however long ago it was, kindness is a user-submitted weapon, which is really cool. So congrats again to Mia for that. All right, let's check out our suspects here. We have Agent Fuchsia, Dr. Crimson, Grandmaster Rose, Dame Obsidian, and President Amaranth. The weapons today are a knitting needle, yarn, a bottle of cyanide, kindness, and a pair of gardening shears. And of course, kindness is our murder weapon today. And our locations today are the town square, the chapel, the ancient ruins, the manor house, and the new development. All right, I'm remembering the new development. Again, I'm not sure if it was a few weeks ago, a few months ago, what is time, but the new development had a kind of tricky clue. It was like something like an excavator or some sort of like construction equipment that was not called out. So we just can keep that in mind if we see anything around that may be this. Usually I really don't like to extrapolate, but we did see that that was correct from the previous puzzle, so we can kind of take that as canon now. So just kind of a shout out there. All right, so we're going to start off with a fingerprint clue. So let's see. That's looking like Agent Fuchsia. I'm seeing kind of like this wishbone shape here. It's pretty distinctive. Nobody else coming close to that. So let's go ahead and say Agent Fuchsia had a knitting needle. Dame Obsidian, sure enough, was not behind a cement truck. So that is going to be new construction. Again, it's not listed in the clue. Usually I really discourage extrapolation, but again, we've had this before. And we can say it's a cement truck. I think it was actually, maybe the cement truck was in the anagram or something. Whatever it was, I remember it really tripped me up, but not again, never again. All right, a rusted iron screw was found amongst crumbling statues. So here we go. This is a classic Murdle, rusted iron screw. That's going to be the gardening shears, rusted iron screw left behind. And the crumbling statues are, of course, at the ancient ruins, both shouted out right there in the clue. So rusted iron screw amongst crumbling statues, that's going to be the gardening shears at the ancient ruins. All right, so it was not permitted to carry yarn in the manor house. Okay, so you know what you're probably thinking, it's also not permitted to commit murder, and yet people are doing it all the time here, but the Murdle universe is a stickler for rules of the house and whatnot. All right, the suspect in the chapel was born on November 17th. I think that's still Scorpio. Yes. Tail end of Scorpio. So we'll put a Scorpio in the chapel. Let's find our Scorpio or Scorpios. Grandmaster Rose. And that is it. So Grandmaster Rose was in the chapel. The suspect with yarn also had green eyes. All right, let's check out our suspect's eye colors. We've got brown, green, so we'll flag Dr. Crimson. Brown, green, so also Dame Obsidian, and gray. So it's between these two. That's the yarn. So we can mark off Grandmaster Rose and President Amaranth for the yarn. And I'm not going to bother with the question marks. Honestly, I don't love that feature as much with the automatic X's and checks. So I'm going to go ahead and say these two are a no, and I'm going to leave these blank for now. Whoever was in the town square had brown eyes. Okay. So let's see. We've got brown, and then these two. This was gray. It's between Grandmaster Rose and Agent Fuchsia, but we already know Grandmaster Rose's location, so that will be Agent Fuchsia. So we can go ahead and finish out this for Agent Fuchsia. So we have the suspect, weapon, and location here for Agent Fuchsia. All right. Either President Amaranth brought a bottle of cyanide or Agent Fuchsia was by the ancient ruins. Well, we just put Agent Fuchsia in the town square, so President Amaranth must have had the bottle of cyanide. So let's see, what are we missing here? All right, we know that Grandmaster Rose could not have had, here we go. We know that Grandmaster Rose could not have had the gardening shears because Grandmaster Rose was not at the ancient ruins. That means Grandmaster Rose is our murderer today with kindness, so we can go ahead and put that in. Grandmaster Rose with kindness by process of elimination because Grandmaster Rose did not have the gardening shears nor the ball of yarn, which requires green eyes. And Grandmaster Rose was in the chapel, our Scorpio in the chapel. So let's go ahead and flip these over. But before we see if we're right, I'm just going to take a moment and go through the rest of these and make sure we've got everything all figured out. So let's see. We know Dame Obsidian was in the new construction. We don't know which weapon Dame Obsidian had, but again, because we know the ancient ruins is where the gardening shears were, we can go ahead and cross off the gardening shears because Dame Obsidian was not by the ancient ruins. So that gives Dame Obsidian the ball of yarn by the new construction. That also gives Dr. Crimson the gardening shears by the ancient ruins, leaving only the manor house for President Amaranth with the bottle of cyanide. And again, this was something we figured out before, but here is everything. It's all working. It all looks good. So again, we have Grandmaster Rose with kindness in the chapel. Let's go ahead and see if we were right. All right, we were right. Thanks so much for playing along with me today. I hope this was a helpful walkthrough, and we'll see you tomorrow.